Hello and welcome to our second ever live stream on the channel here. Just practicing drawing, just for some chill vibes, keeping it simple. To start off, we're just going to do some little warm-ups here. Just some line confidence stuff, some general shape stuff, and the goal here is just to get a little warmed up, digitally especially, because it's a lot harder to draw digitally, especially with what I'm doing here on this pad where I'm not even looking at what I'm drawing. I'm looking at a screen, and there's a lot of hand-eye coordination I gotta practice. And as you can see, I barely can draw a straight line. So that's part of why we're doing this here. Now, this isn't going to be the whole stream. This is just going to be some practice stuff right at the beginning here, just to show some warming up. And we'll get into some more interesting stuff in a little bit. But to start off, that's basically what we're doing. And it's going to be rough, and we're going to get better and better. And we're especially going to get better once I get a desk set up here, so I'm not sitting super awkwardly, but still no desk. And that might be an ongoing thing in this stream here. We'll do some downward strokes as well.
Are you still streaming?
Yes.
The stream stopped for me.
Yeah, because I restarted the stream.
Oh. There we go.
And my wife liked the stream. I could see by the hearts coming up. What's that little crown beside your name?
First person, I guess.
Pardon? First comment, maybe?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I'm doing some, I did pushing. I'm gonna do pulling next, and then we're gonna move on to some ellipsis. Ellipsis? How the heck do you say that? Elliptic circles and part circles.
I wouldn't even know.
I think it's ellipsis. Ellipsises.
No, an ellipsis, I literally searched it up 5 minutes ago on my computer, is the 3 dots. Where it's like dot dot dot.
You sure?
Ellipsis. Yeah. The omission from speech or writing of a word. Super.
Is there another meaning?
A set of dots. No.
Okay, what's
Word for circle?
word for circular shaped objects? All right. That was pulling. Let's do some pushing. Actually, side.
Annulus?
Pardon?
Annular? Annulus?
No.
Spheral?
Ooh.
I'm not finding anything.
And when joining, we're just practicing right here, doing some line confidence. And as you can see, there's no confidence in my drawing right here, especially with pushing. I guess pushing is just not it for me right now. Now, it's been a day since I joined here. What do you keep looking at?
I'm just trying to see how up to date it is. Oh, it's not.
Yeah, I know there's definitely a delay. There's supposed to be a delay. You keep sending that stuff?
I don't know, hyping it up.
And we'll go up a little bit too. This is just basic warm-up stuff. Drawing lines, drawing. Jeez. So much easier on physical paper. But I need to get good at digital because it's so much faster for drawing comics and just a much better method. You get to skip a lot of steps. Inking and penciling sort of merges into one. Sort of just, it's more like penciling and cleaning up. And then you skip the whole scanning step, which can, if you don't have a massive scanner, it either saves money or it saves having to go into Photoshop and sort of adjust them here. So now we've done a little bit of that. We can get rid of, well, actually, instead of getting rid of it, we'll just make it really small and throw it over here. Keep a tally of everything we've done, I guess. Now, I saw this one thing that was, I don't know how good I'm going to be able at doing it here, but if we draw a line, actually, to get a little bit stronger at drawing lines, we'll just do it by hand instead of cheating a little bit here. And then we draw another line below it. And this is called coin flip, where you're doing a little challenge where you start with the coin is straight, and then you're flipping it, so you're just doing a bunch of ellipses, which apparently is not the right word, but that's what we're going with right now. And you're basically trying to make it so you're flipping a coin through the air, and you're drawing every type of circle type that you might be needing to draw. So your circle's getting bigger and bigger as it's bending in perspective, and then as you get to the center, it's becoming more and more circular until it's a full circle. And then once you've been to the center, it starts to go back a bit. So we'll call that a good circle, which we're going to practice this a couple times, and we'll draw that out better. Further, I mean. So these are just little things that you can do to get better at confidence drawing and just doing different shapes. And the next thing we're going to do is one last little warm-up. There's a lot that you can do, but these are just simple ones that I'm going to do quickly so we can get to drawing some more interesting things. And once again, this is something that is going to take a lot of practice for me, because there, something like that. And then we'll do one going downwards, and this time we won't draw the lines. We'll just try and keep it so it's similar sizes. That's a little too big. It's also a little too big. And this is also training my eye as well as my hand. Just slowly getting better at little things, such as this one should be the perfect circle. Now, drawing a perfect circle, dear goodness, not an easy task. Do some adjust there, a little cheat there. Huh. And the other thing about this is I'm going to get faster at using this drawing pad, and that's going to help a lot in the future. At the same time, I can keep a little tally of everything I've done on this live stream. There, something like that. Just a little way to practice drawing every type of circle that you might draw. Now, moving on, another little warm-up that we can do is
Your first live stream got 14 views.
oh, wow.
That's so good. And they weren't me, because I went back and checked. If every time I get off and come back it does views, and it doesn't. It just says one viewer.
All right, so the next thing that we can do is just like you're mirroring shapes. Not mirroring, that's the wrong word. You're training your eye by copying the shapes. So instead of mirroring, we're trying to draw the exact same shape right beside it. And that's sort of training your eye, sort of training your copying skills. And what you want to do with this one is, yeah, start with something simple. Do a few of something simple. Like, because I've been struggling with circle things, let's do a little circle thing here. And, see, that looks off. And we might be stuck doing this for a while, but you do simple things and then you try and do something that's a little more complex. So if we do something like that, you're just trying to copy the exact same movement, not movement, the exact same thing that you draw without actually trying to draw the same movement, because that would just be muscle memory for that shape, and we're not doing that. So as you can see, that's sloppy, that's really bad, but key is just keep moving forward, keep trying to get better. And that's one other thing that you can do to practice drawing a little bit here. Get warmed up. And ideally, you're not using an eraser. These are little quick things. You're not trying to perfect it. You're just trying to train your hand and eyes faster on that first try. But yeah, for that, those are... Might just start every live stream doing simple things like that to sort of get a little more confident with my lines. And that is that. Now, for today, I haven't really planned too much, but I know at the end of yesterday when I was drawing off screen, or the day before, I can't remember, I was really wanting to head into a bodybuilding book that I've got and just practice some anatomy. So I'm going to run and grab that really quick because I'm very unprepared. And we're going to go take a look at that. What do you have a timer going? Hmm?
The guy out there might not be able to do it though.
There we are. Now let's find some the posing section. Now what I'm doing here is I'm going to Arnold Schwarzenegger's Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding. That's what we're going to be looking at here. And to start off, now I will have a webcam going eventually. That's once I have a desk though. I have one prepared that might spice things up, but for now we're gonna not do that. Where do we have? It's a very big book, so here we go, chapter 567. Is that where it was? We'll just go here. I'm gonna get music going for myself. Alright. So the first thing we're doing, these are cut off a little bit, so I won't be drawing the whole body here every time. But to start off, let's just get basic head shape in. Got your jaw, and then got your head shape. He's looking pretty centered. And then something like this. Now we're not going to be focusing on the face right now. We're going to be focusing more on the body and the anatomy of the body. But for fun, I'm going to draw it just a little bit. There. Looks like a head. Beautiful. Now I should be practicing hair, but we'll just avoid that for now. Boom. Now I have put this in a bad spot. We should be going a little more centered because we're going to be coming out both sides. Let's get this centered and more. If I can do this. There, that's good. Okay, so to start off, we're going to be doing, we're sort of cut off at the pelvic wedge, so we're going to start by getting just the barrel of the body in. Now, this is a picture of Arnold, and Arnold's a very wide guy, so we're coming in like this, just for a rough sketch here. Something like that. And he's looking this sort of on that slant that I drew, but his body's facing sort of like this. And there, like that and like that. So that is our basic barrel shape of the body. Now, right at the base of his neck is his collarbone here, and now that we have that in, we can sorta do a little bit preparation for what the rest of the drawing is gonna look like. And we're coming out here, coming out here. Now with this one, elbows right here, and then we've got come up like that for the double bicep pose, and elbows more like this. My music is going on shuffle, and I don't want that right now. All right. So with this, now he's coming up like that, and his hands are like at that level of his head, right at the top. Something like that. So, because, and I drew this a little off, that's more like this and that, because more of this side is showing than this side. Now, with such a big dude, it's a little bit easier to know where the muscles and everything go, but everything's also a little more bubbly too. I get a drink here. So, one of the things I was taught in my one book is draw on a 45, and that's where you can find the nipple. Why'd you look over at me like that?
I didn't expect you to say nipple.
Nipple. I'm drawing a nipple. There's another one.
Okay. Oh, that looks really good. The face shape is good.
I don't need your
Commentary?
I was gonna say a word, but I forgot it.
Education?
Pardon?
Education?
No.
We don't need
And then chest sort of connects up into this, where we've got the shoulder. Now, I'm going to do this on this side as well, and I noticed that I came up a little too soon. It connects more like up here. Like so, and then the bicep comes out of that. So just preparation for a little bit of that. Now, his triceps are huge. Jeez. Bicep's going to come a little bit above the shoulder right there. And then we can repeat on this side once we get a little more formulated here. Sort of like that. And then bicep comes out like so. See, clean up this a bit. So right here, we've got our armpit sort of sticking out in his massive lats. His lats are showing more on this side than the other side. So with this side, it's we're seeing more the inside of it, sort of like that. But with this side, we're actually seeing the side of it, almost like this much of the side is what we're seeing. So let's clean up that a bit. And it looks a little funky right now, but part of the problem is we didn't go low enough. The other problem is we also came out a little far because it's more like this. And we can clean that up. Now, tricep sort of comes out like that, and his triceps are also very big. And then we can just do shape like this. And we've got curve like so, and this could actually come out a little bit more. Hello, that's a long name. Hello, Hemchand. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining. We're just doing some little warm-ups here, drawing some anatomy, getting used to drawing digitally. See, this still looks a little off over here. And I think I see where the problem is. I think this has got to come up a little more like that, and then that is going to come more like this. And the perspective is a little bit weird. Now, I think once we get some more of the muscle placement in here, it'll start to look a little more normal. And yet again, I think I didn't go far enough down with this. So we're going to come like that. Clean up a bit. And then he comes out like this. And that's part of the problem here is there. That makes that what we're looking at, the right lat, look a little bit more normal. Now, one of my most difficult things here is placing in the abdominal heads. It's I don't know why, it's something that, here, actually, before we do that, let's get it cleaned up over here. Get his collarbones in, which is funny calling them collarbones because if I'm being honest, looking at this, there's like not much collarbone showing. It's just muscle. And one of the other things is this deltoid here is showing much more prominent and wider. You can go like that. And anyone new joining here, I'm fairly new to streaming, but I'm going to be doing it a lot more in the coming days and weeks. So if you want to see more, if you want to be updated when I'm going to be streaming, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and there's a bigger chance of seeing them when they come out. So we got that arm already. We might as well get this arm on the left going. So right out of the pit is coming our tricep here. And something like that. The benefit of copying something like this is you're getting so much muscle definition that you're seeing every single muscle. And we're looking a little thin on this wrist here, so more like that. There. That's a bit better. Now, wrist is coming in like this, and then like this. All right. Now we get on to the more difficult task of drawing the abdominal heads. And Arnold's aren't very prominent. They're a little more subtle than other bodybuilders or lighter weight people. So it's even more difficult to get them drawn, especially without shading. But to start, let's get the rib cage. He's got a little bit of his rib cage coming out here, and that's gonna help us structure where these are showing up. And part of that is coming like so. This is a little indent here, and if we were shading at the same time, we would darken that a bit, and then we'd also darken this side of the pectoral muscle. And then something like that. So after I draw this, what I'm going to do is hide it and then try and repeat the drawing without looking at it. And that's going to sort of develop some imaginative drawing instead of just copying. Uh, and that's one way that I find it's good to start to memorize some of these muscles and some of these different. Girl, you gotta stop looking over at how many viewers. You're distracting me.
Sorry.
You like you swing your head over like 3 seconds. It's like I'm not checking the viewers that much. That's good. That's good stuff. And the other thing is, if I take that break from just copying and I do that imaginative drawing, uh, it also gets me just faster at doing the silhouette instead of doing all of these scratchy lines that I'm doing. It gives me a chance to get better at. I don't know where I was going with that, but something like that. His belly button's right there. And he does have a six-pack. Now his abdominal heads are very wide, so he's or sorry, not very wide, very long. So he's missing some the genetics that would lead to an 8-pack. And as you can see, I screwed up there because it's more like this. Very, very, very large abdominal heads. One thing I need to note is that we're seeing the bottom of the abdominal heads is what is darkened. So, like that. And we can do our center line a little bit. And that last set of abdominal heads is coming, it sort of comes inward a bit, and I think I need to go like that. And the other side is less showing, and we've actually got some very irregular shapes here for that other side set, where what we're looking at, his right are left. This side is more proportionate, and this side is much less, which is very common. What? Something like that. And it's actually looking okay. Now, we can get rid of this a bit because it's a little off. And then something like that. Actually, no, it was better before. Let's go back. Now, with this, he's got like that. That's where we're going to come up. this is going to come down like that, sort of connecting to there. And then we've got some shading up like this. Now his serratus is also very not prominent in this pose, so it's another thing that's a little difficult to draw. It's more prominent on this side because we've got more shading, but Arnold's not known for his abs, and that's on him. Because in 75, when he competed, Serge Dufresne, I think his name is, had very nice abs. That's actually looking pretty decent now. We've got the basic shape. Now, I think we're at a place where I'm going to clean up just a few more things. What did I just do? I just accidentally undid what I was wanting to keep doing. Let's get that going down there. And we'll separate the bicep heads. Come over here, clean this up a bit. And we're almost at a place where we're gonna switch over to not copying and try and redraw it from memory. And it's probably gonna look worse, but that's how we get better. Something like that. All right. So let's grab this now that we've done some. Where's my lasso? One up. There we go. I'm going to shrink this bad boy. Put it off to the side. And then we're going to come over to a place where I can't see it. And we're going to try and redraw it without any reference. And then we can compare after. And that, oh, if I can stretch my legs a bit, I'll be good. All right, so first of all, working the same way, because even though typically you're supposed to draw, did I accidentally make my brush size bigger? Something's weird about my brush right now. Give me 1 second. All right, sorry about that. I needed to give my legs a little break here because they are falling asleep, and if I don't get up, they'll fall asleep permanently. So, let's go down here. And try this again now that my legs are not absolutely decimated. Alright, first of all, let's get in here. There, that makes more sense. I don't know what happened to my pen, but it was way off for a sec. First things first, draw the jaw. Then get your general head shape. Oh my gosh. Already seeing problems here. Let's start over. There, that is better. There we go. Before we put the eyes in, let's get this. Then we've got our general head shape. Boom. Eyes were a little bit higher than half. Then we've got this and this. Okay. All right. So now we can come in, draw our body shape. Now, before we do that, actually, let's get the collarbone here. And then draw sort of the direction of the body here. Over there. Now we got that and that. Actually, I think we drew these nipples a little too close. Man, I don't know how I sat cross-legged in high school, in elementary school for so long. It was brutal. Okay. that. Let's just get some basic shapes here. Hmm. That's one thing about this exercise where you draw something and then after try and draw it without reference is I feel like my lines are much cleaner. It also encourages me a little bit that I'm not awful completely, but I just need some more practice in some areas. And I'm chicken scratching a little bit here. Now, one of these problems is I think. Hello, with Roofy, if I pronounced that right. Welcome to the stream. Thanks so much for joining. We're just doing some chill drawing. Yes, I am live. I am very much live. Yeah, this is just a chill stream. I started doing it a couple days ago, where just a way to practice, keep a inventory of my progress, and be able to take a look back at how I did things and see where my errors were in my amateur stages. We're just practicing drawing. I don't want to scroll over, but I did a drawing with a reference of from a book, and now I'm just trying to draw it without reference to sort of get an idea and put the imagery in my mind and sort of remember how to draw a pose like this. And that's just one practice method that I picked up. I learned from. Actually, I don't remember where I learned. I think it was from one of my books. I'll be honest, I am not someone that has a lot of skill. So I wouldn't call this a tutorial in any way. But yeah, if you want to draw along with me, that's awesome. Glad to have you. And I'm going to be doing this a lot more often too. I know I'll probably be doing a lengthy live stream on Saturday. That's tomorrow, Saturday. And just have fun with it, sort of practice, learn where I can improve. And honestly, doing it live, if I get more people that are watching, they can also give me tips on how I can improve, and that's going to be huge because the drawing community is just, it's a great way to improve if we all stick together, especially as beginners. We're all going to pick up different things from different areas. Yeah, that's perfect. This is definitely the place for you then. Thanks so much for joining. I wish if YouTube didn't have such strict laws on music, I'd have some music going here for everyone to listen to, but unfortunately, something that Maya, do you keep going on Spotify?
No.
I keep switching it to not shuffle, and it keeps going back to shuffle.
Oh.
All right, so now is my problematic area where I suck, and that is putting the abdominal heads in. Very challenging for me. I don't know why. I think it's because also my abdominal heads are really irregular, so I put that in, and then it just looks really sloppy and not great. To start off, I do remember that my reference had irregular abdominals as well. This is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Um, because I have ADHD, for some reason I felt like going up and putting ears in. So his irregular abs, I do remember, came out with his chest that was showing, or what is that? Rib cage, not chest. And his abdominals are very long compared to most. And the right side was very different from the left. Something like that. And then like so. See, that just is not looking very fine, but that's okay. We can clean that up here with some trial and error. Now, with Roofy, what are you typically like draw? Like I like drawing comic style. I'm going for a little bit more realism here, just because my reference is a live thing. But what do you like to draw usually? Do a little of that, and now we'll just get serratus in a little bit. His serratus was very unprominent in this pose. And then after that, we can get a little comparison between my with reference and without reference. Maybe do a little bit of cleaning up here first. Clean up in here. Skeletons in hand position. Hands are freaking difficult. Uh, my wife says that hands are one of my better things, which is ironic because it's such a difficult thing and it takes a lot to get through. But skeletons is awesome. That's great. Great way to practice your anatomy and get the underlying layers done. That's awesome. I need to do some skeleton drawings for sure.
Who's calling?
Seamus, can you answer and go into the other room?
Hello. Hi, it's Mom. I'm answering on your phone.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can go in here. If I can find my right brush, do that a little bit, and switch back. Was he just checking if we were going tonight?
Yeah, he said he almost had to. He would have had to cancel tonight if we weren't going. So he said he needed to know immediately.
Made this guy Navi for a second, and he only had three fingers. All right, little rough there, but that's okay. We're doing rough drawings today. Something not like crazy over here. Just keeping it simple. Not going for perfectionism. We're not drawing comics yet. That's my end goal, by the way. My end goal is to draw some comic art, get a few things. I have a whole bunch of stories planned, but not the art skill to do them. And I have the benefit of knowing some great artists, so I can just write, and one of them is my father. He can do a lot of art, but I have a lot of comic ideas, and ultimately when I want to get into it, it's just a little bit too much for the amount of artists that I have. My wife is another great artist, much better than I am, and I have a story that I think is perfect for her. All right, let's go in here and compare. So I'm going to get my lasso tool out, if I can find it. There we go. And get a little side-by-side comparison going. So the head I already can see is much better. And that's because my heads are terrible. So I'm just going to write above these guys. Ref, no ref, just so I can remember in the future. And we're gonna do a little analysis here. Oh, I forgot to clean up this bubble here. So, already I can see that these abdominals look very weird. These abdominals are a little more messy, but they look more realistic. They look cleaner to a certain extent. Now, the other thing is this chest is a little too flat. This one's coming down a little more, like on an angle like that, and that might keep it looking much nicer. Other things. I didn't draw. That's not a big deal because his weren't very prominent, but I didn't draw his collarbone. Yeah, collarbone, that's right. Coming through there. And neck is a little stumpy, but ultimately I think I got the general gist of things going here. And there's a few things like right here is looking a little weird, a little wonky, but ultimately I got the general shape down. This hand is also really wonky. But I'm glad I did this. I haven't done this. I've been planning to do it for a very long time where I drew with a reference and then tried to draw without a reference. And I think this is something that I'm going to put into general practice a lot more. So now let's grab these, move them out of the way. And I have no idea. I haven't planned ahead. I need to get like a schedule here for the next live stream, but I'll slide those up out of the way, and I'll try and think of something else to do. I think we might just go in and repeat this once more. Find a different pose. Maybe something with legs, because I know legs are with the pelvic wedge is something that I could improve on. So let's find an interesting leg pose. There's not much interesting here. It's very flat because it's all like showcasing muscles in this book. I need like Spider-Man doing some interesting stuff. These guys' legs are huge too. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna do legs. I'm gonna do a more interesting bodybuilding pose here. And I'm gonna actually try and draw it really quick without erasing and see how that does. So, to start, I'm gonna do that. I lied, I might erase, but I just want to try and do it quick. This is another Arnold. There's other bodybuilders in here, but he's obviously in it the most because it's his book. Okay, let's get basic skeletal shape in. We get an S, and then there's a lot of darkness in this. I actually can only see one leg too. Actually, we're gonna need to move this down because I'm gonna be impeding on my other stuff here. Benefits of digital drawing, just move things. This is a much more awkward pose, so it'll be good to practice on. That's awesome. I need to practice heads like infinitely. I can never get, especially I know that I need to practice facial expressions a lot because I don't know why. I just don't get, the eyebrows are always messed up. The eyes just either look dead. This is not capturing the vast size of this dude. Man, his eventually I want to get it so the reference is on screen, and I could probably arrange for next stream to do that with my webcam. I think that would be huge. It's just difficult because I don't have a desk right now. I just moved recently, and the desk that is at my parents' house still is way too big for this apartment. So I gotta figure out, I gotta make one, and I just haven't had time to go to Home Depot or anything. It's a much more challenging pose than just a double bicep. This one, we're actually seeing all three heads on this side of the deltoid. Seeing the rear delts here. And there's a beautiful bump right there. And the center delt is very prominent. And the wedge goes into the traps, which his spine is, the shadowing on this is like intense, so it's sometimes it's really hard to tell what I'm looking at. Like his spine is really, really dark, but it also connects over here to the back muscles. And his shoulder blade's sticking out really far in this. And then as we get higher up, of course the light's coming straight from above, so right here we're actually really thin on that line. Oops. This is looking rough right now. can't do some fixes here before I have to end the stream and go get dinner. Dins. First of all, that leg is way too big. It's a little better. His other leg is extraordinarily in the dark. I can't see what it's doing at all. So I'm going to leave it for now. Honestly, if I think I drew this from memory instead of reference, I'd do much better than I'm doing right now. This is where it gets a little challenging because we're dealing with some awkward perspective. It's like down here, we're seeing the side, which is much more easy to interpret in my brain. But this side over here, we're sort of seeing an upper angle where it's like we're also seeing a lot of separation in all of the muscles here. But let's just get the general shape down. Something like that. And then we got our tricep separation. These are the things that I need to remember, that like when I'm drawing like bodybuilder sized people, like a lot of superheroes are, I need to remember that simple lines like this, the separation of the tricep from the one head to the next head, is something that's also connecting to that elbow piece. So many things to remember in drawing. It's brutal. I feel like when I take a long break, it's like I've lost so much. It's like I'm learning the basics all over again. Now, once again, it's awkward because his hand is disappearing into the black, and we're on a white piece of paper. This would have been better to draw on a black piece of paper. Okay, the next thing is, I think I made this rear delt a little song I do not want to listen to. And now I'm stuck in the cycle of cycling through songs. Oh, it's a good song. Good drawing song. There. See, that little tiny adjustment made it look a little bit more natural. I can clean up some of these edges here. Now, when you're drawing a skeleton, are you looking at a reference or sort of just figuring it out as you go? This is where I find myself challenged a little bit because there's a lot of lines on this side showing us. Getting very distracted here.
That's such a cute cat.
Getting a little Eric Leifson chest over here. I'm gonna cut like this. So that's, if we bring in the lat and then go like that, that might look a little more natural. Another thing I'm seeing that we can adjust is this bicep is too big. So a simple little shift like that. Still looking a little off. Maya, what do you think? Does this look really rough?
Let me see. Not too rough. I think it's just this arm, honestly. Top arm.
I don't know. It looks rough, and unfortunately I need to like leave and get supper now.
I think I've seen worse, to be honest. Oh.
She's looking
Well,
at the reference
okay.
now.
To be fair, your little picture has so much contrast.
I know
hard
that's
to
and it's
line.
really hard to figure out the muscle where each muscle is ending up. It was a good one to practice on though because of that.
No, it actually doesn't look too bad.
Pardon?
It said it actually doesn't look too bad.
You know what? I think
I've
one
seen
thing that I
way
can
worse.
do is bring the whole. Yeah, that's where I'm at too. Really challenging without reference. And honestly, as you can see through this, really challenging with reference. But little adjustments like that make it a little bit better. No, I think I made it worse. Dang. Oh, I know what I did. I can keep it where it was. I just need to, I erased the wrong things. The traps need to go above the shoulder. Sort of like that. By the way, her saying, I've seen worse, is saying, that's not good.
No, okay. Whenever you say, come look at this, it's not that great, sometimes it really is not that great, and I'm like, wow, that's rough. I looked at that and thought, oh, that's not as bad as I thought you were gonna say, or show, I mean.
Oops, that's not my eraser. Alright, it is 5:30. Unfortunately, that is my time to leave because I need to go somewhere in a little bit and I need to get supper in the process. So, I'm going to shrink this, and next time we will continue to fill out this live stream paper here. And I think I'm going to repeat not this exact pose, but a drawing like this where I'm going to draw it and then draw it without a reference and compare. I think that was a really fun activity that is going to help my imaginative drawing. But yeah, this is all right for 2 live streams here. I'm a very slow drawer, especially digitally. It's very hard to come up with concepts to draw at the same time, and it's so hard to have a reference that I'm like, it's on my lap. I keep talking while I'm looking away from my microphone and, oh, gotta look up. But I'm working through it. I think that we have some stuff that's a little more memorable than last time. And the goal is to just get at 1% better every time, and over many times we'll eventually get to a pro level. But for now, that is it. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for chatting. Thank you for hanging out. I look forward to doing this again, and see you tomorrow maybe. Have a good one.